as we come together, we're very grateful to be able to be together this morning and whenever we are together, not only in this circle, but other circles that we are involved with who are holding steady space, focus, commitment to an outcome that brings benefit and good to all in the web of life. And as we are meeting today with the intention to move to whatever point in our collective greater consciousness of humanity and galactic worlds, that we can activate and expand and bring forth energies from our original agendas of good, to bring them, anchor and activate them, to make this present moment change, which is a surrogate to make all moments in time, space, dimensions, realities change to the benefit of all in our web of life. We are here for that purpose. We call in all who can help in accomplishing that, who know what can be done further, deeper, faster. And we don't know what that is. But we know that there is a greater intelligence at play, committed and being that benefit to all in the web of life. Draw us to you. Yourself, feel the connections, the holding, the filling up of you. This is not to deplete us. This is to rejuvenate all, including us. Our circle is set, activated, rippling to all circles with similar intentions. And we hold that grateful and ready. And so it is. Okay, so let's just place ourselves in the circle where you are, either physically or emotionally or mentally or spiritually, wherever it is you want to, whatever you want to say, and then tag the next person. So we're going to start with Carol.
Well, I was up most of the night because the moon was so bright, and the sky was incredibly clear, and I have all these windows, and it kept coming in at different angles, and I kept thinking, oh, this is so beautiful, I don't want to sleep. And now it's completely fogged over. I can barely see out my window. And I hope that's not a metaphor for my life. I am still with the idea of the last circle, which was because I followed the instructions, the call to action of activate your symbol for 17 seconds. And I followed it blindly. 17? Why 17? I didn't even ask. I didn't even count. Anyway, the idea of transmitting truth. And then when Cinda says, let's kick ass, I'm going, yeah, but which one? What is the deepest possible, most fundamental building piece of this, rather than picking at all the little pieces and cornices out on the outside of the building? How do we know which is the important thing? And the reason we don't know is because there's been this massive conscious and unconscious masking of truth. There's this huge web of lies. And I can't be sure of what I'm hearing or reading or knowing, or all I know is that there can't have been a time in history, honestly, when there was this much deliberate disinformation. from all sides. And you know, the side that might be right has to exaggerate something beyond truth to get their point across, because they have to convince, and then they're going to a point that's not necessarily true. And there's just no truth out there. There's no plain, unadulterated truth about anything. And so how can we vote? How can anybody vote? I sit with my voters pamphlet and try to decide of their statements what they would actually do. I can make a decision, but I can't know the truth. So this is really bothering me. So with that, I will tag Emma.
Yeah, that's good, Carol. You know, Sharon has been talking about looking what's behind. And then one day I was asked to look behind what's behind. And that's the light. And so that's always there. So for me, I don't know if that's just you know, like a comforter, but it's comforting. Yeah, I feel like I'm crawling out of the exhaustion that I had last week, which is really sweet. And doing a lot of the inner work ongoingly. And it's been interesting to combine Sharon's teachings with Caroline Mace's. And they work together if you shift things around. And so for me, it's, you know, it's been really good. And I think as I free up all of that oppression, the inner oppression, I free up my energy, which Sadie appreciates. And yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like this. Montana used to be covered by an ocean. And at one point, whatever the barrier was holding that ocean in collapsed. And it created the Columbia River Gorge eventually. And I feel like whatever has been holding back all of the darkness in a contained space has collapsed, and we are being inundated almost moment to moment with all of that negativity, whether on a personal level or whether on a community level or on a global level. And certainly for us in the US and on the national level. And so for me, I'm just kind of stepping back a little to look at the outflow rather than the boulders in the river that are flowing down the river. Because otherwise I will make myself absolutely nuts and crazy and sit with my phone on Twitter doom scrolling for hours. So I just get an overview and I say, okay, I understand. And here's what's calling to me personally today to address. And then I move on. So I am complete. I will tag Kala.
Hello, good morning. I may have to get off early. I've got another conflicting thing that I did to myself, unfortunately, because this sounds like it's going to be a great discussion here. Oh, I wanted to respond to Carol. Number 17 is the letter Q, as we're hearing about QAnon. So just food for thought. That's all the coded information with the big war that's going on now down in the tunnels. And this is the war about good and evil, which I know a lot about because I have been researching and researching. I don't know that you guys want me to bring that into the circle because there's some really dark stuff. So, but the good thing is that there is the light at the end of the tunnel, which is going to be phenomenal. And so, again, I hear, that we need to go into action. But the other thing is to really be thinking about how we want to create the new earth and what it is that we want to bring forward in a new way, in a better way, that's wonderful for everyone. And to really try to hold our thoughts on that. And so how do you want your day-to-day life to look? How would you like the weather? How would you like your body to feel? How would you like society to be? How do we vision that? And sometimes I understand that there's a whole lot of technology that has not been revealed to us that is out there, ready to go, like med beds, and different things. So it's kind of hard to dream about something we don't even know can exist. So to expand our imagination and our ideas and really stretch and stretch into a more and more beautiful, as a flower blossoming, how it just expresses itself and opens and opens. So, and to just fully become who we are meant to be, but also to envision something really, really wonderful to come. And it could be very soon. It could start happening very, very quickly here. And that's really exciting too. So we're feeling the anticipation. We're feeling this tension. We're getting thoughts from every which way, which up and down and inside out. At this time, I'm kind of almost feeling like, who do I pray to? Because I'm really big on prayer. And but I still go to my higher self who knows more, and to develop that connection on a daily basis, and to keep listening and keep listening. And I've been doing that, and I try to stay in constant communication with the higher self, and to keep the information flowing, the doors open, and all that. So it's in the pineal gland, and keeping that so it doesn't get crusted over. I don't know, there's some process in which we kind of shut down with our pineal gland to do natural remedies to keep it open so we can stay in communication. It's really important. So anyhow, this is all constant with me all the time, and I'm just like obsessed with it. It's terrorizing on one side, and it's absolutely fascinating on the other, and just exhilarating. It's like I can hardly wait for the next day and the next day, because there is such good and new to come to us. So I'm complete. Cinda.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, once upon a time in a state of confusion, I called Sharon and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And she, or what's true, what's true, what's true? And she said, none of it really matters. All you need to do is you've got the tools, use them. You've got the tools, use them. The most important prayer that I have found that I can actually say right now, and call I understand, who do I pray to? There's been that question a lot, and the most important person, place, thing, entity that I can pray to is to myself, I'm finding. And so, but the most important prayer is, may the truth be revealed, may the truth be revealed, may the truth be revealed. And we're talking the universal truth, not your truth, not my truth, but the universal truth. May the veil be lifted, may everything be exposed, may we see what it really is. But in the meantime, we have the tools. And Sharon, I really want to thank you for that class you guided us through at 4 o'clock yesterday. You had a lot of people that were there that had that weren't even familiar with your teachings, and they were like, wait, slow down, teach me, what is that word, what is that term, what are you talking about? And it was beautiful. It was so beautiful, wasn't it, Emma? I just thought it was really, really nice. And sharing your authority in which you spoke, the authority in which you didn't even for one moment hesitate in or hold back or filter the teachings and the story. And I was watching people and they were all leaning in, those that were brand new to it, because it does offer us hope and it gives us action and it gives us tools. And yeah, so thank you for that. And I'm in Portland and I'm obviously on fire this morning. So I can't wait. Sue.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. So, yesterday morning I was in a healing circle, and there was a woman there who's in last stages of cancer. And then we went into meditation. And what I felt, first I was following directions, and then the directions fell away. And I just went into the consciousness of this woman. And what I felt was a lifetime of messages and beliefs, limiting beliefs that were keeping her small and weak and sick. And it was huge sadness, deep, deep sadness. And I just stayed with her sadness and honored it. By staying in it, I think I was honoring it. And from there I felt compassion, deep compassion for her, and acceptance and forgiveness. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. And then our time was up. And then this morning I was in a meditation at 8, and my meditation partner has MS. And I asked her, can you think of any reason that would contribute to your having MS? And she thought about it and she said, the messages growing up was that I'm a girl and I'm weak. And that I'm not like the boys. I'm weak. The message from my mother was always, I'm weak. So we did a meditation. And sometime yesterday, last night, early this morning, I was asking a question. And what I got was that I chose to come into this lifetime disconnected from the awareness of source consciousness being within each of us. And it's made me a victim. And it's not my fault. I misunderstood. I didn't realize what I was doing. But I've been a victim. And I keep trying to change the outside circumstances, and it doesn't work. So what I got was that I need to accept that's what I did based on, I died by fire, burned as a witch for using my gifts. And I was pregnant, so we both died. And that keeps coming up every time I go to break the chains that keeps me small. I feel this overwhelming fear that I will die. And it's not a quick death. And it just stops it so quick. So that's why I've been keep asking for clarity and truth. So now I know I made a decision, and I need to just I need to accept I did it without understanding the consequences. Now I know the consequences. I can forgive myself and hopefully let it go. So I'm kind of in a state of awe right now that information is coming in, and it just feels so powerful. And if I can stay with a gentle process, the new reality I want is we all come from our heart. We have either healed ourselves and let those lessons go, and we're helping others, or we're in the process of healing ourselves and letting our lessons go so that we can just live from our hearts. Just live from our hearts. And that would be our new reality. So that's the reality I'm going for. And I'm trying to just sit with this and let it be. Sharon, are you the last one?
I don't think, Kelly, have you gone? I'll go and then you go, because I don't have to be the last one. You know, we did a heart transplant, which means we took out the heart that the dominators had created that was fueling all of the different systems, and recognized that there's already the heart of the new world already there, that has been created by all that we've done and everyone else has done, like you spoke of, Gala. It is already there. That future is already there in the symbol of this new heart. And as I did the class yesterday, that conversation yesterday, and I woke up this morning with that same, because I just feel like I'm going to do these little snippets of connection to what I call the galactic history and how it relates to, and here's the galactic history and how it relates to. And all of a sudden I went, my God, it's so simple. You know, it's so simple, but it's not simple when you're in it. When you're in all the confusion, it's not simple. So we talked about, because of the new heart, the importance of building the new neurological systems. When the heart's taken out, it's connected to the different systems in the body, but the neurological system, not. You cannot connect neurological pathways to the heart. They're gone. So they have to create themselves again. And so we are in this, I think, a really important phase of energizing the neurological system of humanity's heart. And to me, the neurological systems is all about women's gifts, intuition, visions, wisdom, those pathways that connect us, of which the internet is a very, very rough model, you know? And so I'm kind of sitting with all of that in relationship to the pathways, the connections, the networks, holding the truth, bringing the new truth, if you will. And when I say truth, I'm talking about original divine family agendas, those 7 reasons we extended from home. That's our truth. And some extended to experience joy, some extended to experience guidance, what I call leadership, some extended in order to feel that inner connection and know it, flow with it. Some extended to try a little bit of everything. Some extended to hold that stable, this is the royal family line, and some extended to be the emotional balance. Those are the truths that I speak of, because it's why we extended from home. So, you know, it's wonderful times we live in, and what that means for what we're doing here today, it will be shown. And Sue, I'm excited for you. Kelly.
Good morning from Portland. Going off of what Carol shared about last week's time travel and my connecting with these orange orbs, like in dream time and everywhere. So just kind of going with that and just being in that energy. I've been a little terse this week. I don't like to be cranky. It's not my favorite thing to do. And recognizing being kind of a PTSD aspect of it. Because the last time I was this terse, when I was like really flipping cranky with other people. And that's, you know, not the people that are in my immediate future, but it's the people, the general public that I have to, I'm like, really? Seriously? What the F? What is your, I mean, really? I mean, it's just like, I don't have any bandwidth. I go from here to there in a moment. And I don't like that. I don't like that. But the PTSD was back when I was going through a major shift. And I was just a raving bitch to anybody and everybody that I had to deal with in the public setting that didn't perform or didn't provide or didn't give me what I needed when I needed. If I had to call twice, I was not a very nice person. That's kind of the energy I've been sitting with this week, this last couple of days, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm really not a fan of that. So I'm trying to take a step back and find that element of compassion and not wanting to repeat that crankiness that I had back many years ago. So it's just the chaos that's in my mind right now, recognizing that it's all fine. It's just a transition. My boy is sick, so I'm working with that. I think that's a lot of the terseness that I'm coming up with, the anxiety. So my boy is a dog, just so you know, those that may not know. My boy is a boxer boy who woke up and my bed was covered with blood from his mouth this morning. So I don't know what's going on with him. So I'm a little terse and cranky right now. But that being said, I understand the work. I understand looking behind what's behind and using the tools that I have to rebalance whatever this is that I'm going through in this moment, and showing up to do the consistent work that I'm here to do. And I am with Cinda, as well as recognizing that when I pray, I'm praying to me. I'm praying to my higher self. That's what I've been working with as well. So I'm complete.
Kelly, could we hold your boy in cold love for you?
Yeah, I actually have an email partially asked to do that. So that would be great. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and send your email out also.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Well, where are we going to be each taken today? We know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. And thank goodness we are in company with some who know more. Cinda, I saw your hand.
I'm sorry, do you want us to focus on the heart transplant stuff today too, or have we done that work? You brought it up and
I just brought it up because, you know, we have several circles in the Sacred Ground Collective, and they're all doing kind of their own unique thing, but there's that overlay. And the heart transplant is, you know, even though I sent out an email, I just felt like it needed to be verbalized. I have no agenda other than to be present to what it is we're each called to, really. Emma?
I just wanted to follow up on what Cinda said in terms of yesterday's class, which was really, really great. And I suddenly you were explaining what Deep Six meant. And I suddenly got that all of these shorthands are like computer program macros. Like you just press one or two symbols and the whole thing happens. And I'm like, oh, okay. The other thing is again, kind of, oh, and can I say, Sharon, one of the things that really impresses me and teaches me is how you do not allow people to turn you into a guru who has all the answers for everybody. And you really displayed that beautifully yesterday, to say, to in essence say, I don't have your answers, you have your answers. And that takes a certain kind of strength that I really admire. And then I thought maybe we could sort of, as part of an intention for today's travel, is to follow up on Cinda's like kick-ass suggestions, and just ask the field, like, what is it that each of us could do to kind of do this kick-ass? Did you guys ever hear of the Powder Puff Girls cartoons? You know that their original names was the Kick-Ass Girls, and they changed it because they wouldn't allow them to market it to kids. But the Powder Puffs were Kick-Ass Girls. And the last thing I want to say that I forgot earlier was that when I was about 17, so this is in the late 1970s, I had this dream that the world was on fire. Like there were fires and there were floods and there were hurricanes and there was some sort of huge political upheaval, especially having to do with the US and Russia. And what everybody said to me is, oh, these are symbolic dreams about your parents getting divorced. And I was like, really? Because that doesn't feel true for me. And then this morning in the shower, I was like, holy shit, that was a predictive dream. And how wonderful it would have been as a young woman to have a circle of older women around me who could say, anyway, I've talked about wanting to do this before, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it, is to set up a group a dream group, not to talk about our dreams as personal dreams, but to bring our dreams into circle as what is the communication that we're receiving on the behalf of the community of the world. So these are all going to tie into my time travel somehow, and I wanted to bring that out. Thank you.
Kelly?
I just wanted to mention, I've mentioned before the use of bind runes, and I wanted to add to our arsenal. I know we use the Tesla towers, but are you aware, and you may already be aware, that the Bluetooth symbol is actually a bind rune?
Wow.
Can I share you what that bind rune actually is so that you can look at that and utilize it in a much different way whenever you're connecting or seeing it? Because it really is broadcasting a beautiful frequency if you look at it the right way. Let me just share a screen, a whiteboard.
So
it's not
explain what it means too, please. Bind.
Sure,
In
I
what way?
will. Sharon, it doesn't allow me to share a whiteboard. It just lets me share a screen.
Let me see.
If not, I can dry it out. It's no big deal.
You don't have it you can't share it by way of screen.
It just doesn't let me to do a whiteboard. So I could
I
draw
don't
it.
know how to change that because it's probably
That's
back because I don't use it that much.
Okay, no problem. Let me just draw it out for you. So a bind rune is in Norse studies and the Celtic studies, there's the Elder Futhark runes, and there's 24 runes. There's 3 8, if you will. And each 8 has a different energy to it. So there's 8 runes in each 8, A-E-T-T. So a bind rune is a magical symbol that you use the energies of the runes to invoke a spell, if you will, depending on what you're using it for. A helm, there's an aspect of it that can be invoked into a helm that also becomes a protective sigil or what have you. You can look at it as a sigil, a bind rune. So when you look at, draw this out. So the Bluetooth is comprised of a number of different runes. But let me first draw the symbol and then I'll break it down for you. So this is the Bluetooth symbol. Can you see it? Right? And am I right?
I can pull it up on screen.
Okay.
I mean, it's got some ads on it too, but it's interesting because it's an intentional thing. It was an
Absolutely.
intentional thing.
Okay, so and if you look at it below, go ahead and scroll down. They're actually sharing you a little bit about it here, but there's more to it than there. So if you look at the B in the middle, just that B, that's the rune Berkana. That is the mother. That is new beginnings. It's also the birch tree. It's a very nurturing rune. Okay. Now, if you look more towards the actual element there, on the right, if you take the B out of it, there's actually an X in there. Do you see the X? If you just see the X, that's Gibo. That's a gift. That is a gift of the gods, basically. It's an energy. And the point of the center of that is creation. It's the uniqueness. It's what I spoke about in Women Remaking the World, the gift, the understanding of the center. So what it is broadcasting. You can look at it a number of different ways. There's also, before I go into the whole symbology of it, there's also the rune called Winjo, which is the flag of success. If you take the B itself and remove the 1 ampersand at the bottom, it looks like a flag.
That's right.
So that is a flag of success. Okay. Now, if you go ahead and look to the left here, where it shows that you can look at that many different ways. The two ampersands, the greater than and equal, greater than and less than. Depending on how they look, if it's going this way towards the right, it's shedding the light. It's like you're a flashlight. You're shedding the light on the future. This can be you're blinded by the light by itself, but together you look at it from the past to the future. So if you look at it from the past, and then you have the straight down line, which is the rune of Isa, which is frozenness. It's a shamanic birth or death. You have to go through it. So the past gets projected into the future through the gifts and the runes of Berkana. So if you look at it as a way to move from the past into the future by the mother and broadcast nothing but beauty and grace and newness and nurturing and all those elements. So I thought we could use Berkana in the work that we do and the whole rune, the whole Bluetooth rune, find rune.
If you tie that into the crystal broadcasters information, where the crystals in every one of our computers, there are crystals somehow. I don't understand it. But if we claim that clearing of the crystals with this symbol and tie them together, what have we got?
Yeah, it's magical.
And he who masters energy determines the outcome. She who understands and masters and works with energy determines the outcome. So if we consciously, and there are others who have done this even faster and before us, but we've just been made aware of it through our crystal broadcasting group, that the crystalline kingdom is there ready. They want to be cleared of everything we've put on them. We claim clearing of that kingdom. We claim clearing of the crystals within our salt, within our computers, with wherever they are in our daily life. We claim clearing of that entire kingdom to be restored to their original purpose of broadcasting and that which is good. And this symbol of the Bluetooth holds that. That makes sense?
Mhm.
Thank you, Callie.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's a kick-ass step up. Oh, take a breath. You're ready to go. So we affirm our sacred ground of sovereignty, the cocoon of our guardian circle teams. We are connected beyond those that we even understand to that which is aligned to our home of all good. And wherever it is, the most powerful place for us to be, to have our voice as the one in a physical suit, that is where we are asking to be directed. So be with your team. Notice your journey. Ask questions in ways that you feel to. When you are complete, we'll meet you back here in the circle to share what we have learned, what we can anchor, what needs to be activated. See you on the other side. Did you want to pass the baton, Kala?
Yes, well, Cinda's up, so let's go with her. You came up on my screen.
Oh yeah, I unmuted myself because I was going to say, Sharon, you aren't recording. And then she recorded, so I shut my thing off. Okay, well, I'll go next. So I said, all right, let's do this. Take me, use me, show me. And immediately I was shown Grace's legions of angels again, and they are completely surrounding the globe in a grid, all looking down, all waiting, all supporting, all waiting for us to utilize them. And then I was shown that among us on the planet, there are actual angels that are walking on the planet, and they are all doing the work of grace. And and what they're doing is they are just immediately seeing what's happening, and they just go PTO, 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 PTO. That's all they need to say. It's like what Emma was saying about the deep six, and immediately it's revealed. And the reason why this can happen so quickly is because that analogy of the pimple that I've been using forever is that this pimple is now on the surface. The underground healing has happened, and it is visible. Everything is visible. So these angels that are walking on the planet, they see it, they know it, and they've also, there's also the many of us humans that are doing the work as well, because we have the tools. There will be in order, so when this pimple, this concept of the pimple is the junk, and the gunk is just about ready to burst. And in one of the other groups, it was like, well, let's put some ointment over it, so when it bursts, maybe we can dry it up and soften the blow before it explodes. And that's quite possible. But the elemental events that are coming up, sort of based on Emma's dream, is all in favor of the cleansing. So I was shown that the hurricanes that are going to bring in the water are going to actually cleanse the gunk. The earthquakes that might follow are going to be opening up to bring in that water and to soak that water into the earth and contain it underground. The fires, if there are fires, will be there to just burn off the debris. And the winds that are coming will be caused because there will be a vacuum, an etheric vacuum that is actually sucking all that smoke out. So on the other end of it, it will just be clear air, clear earth, clear, it just will be okay. It will all be there for a purpose. There will be those that will pass, those leaders among us like Thich Nhat Hanh, you know, that they are there, and when they come and when they rise, they are immediately becoming one of the angels that are supporting us from the other side. There will be those who will just pass through the grid and you know, just because they, whatever. So, and on the other end is a thing that resembles amnesia, in the sense that all of this is in preparation of the new heart. And in the planetary new heart, every single one of our own individual hearts is being altered. So as the new heart is being inserted, and all of these connections that Sharon talks about as they are being made, we are, because we are so part of the earth, our own heart is getting altered. And in that doing so, it will be led by compassion. And that compassion will be a form of amnesia that will allow those of us who have been living in such fear to not be in fear anymore. Meaning we can't try to remember why we were so mad or why we were so afraid, because it won't matter anymore. When that dissolves and compassion comes in for our brethren, our sister, and we are, it's just different. And so the question is, when will this happen? And they're like, well, it is right now. It's already happening. All right, Carol.
Carol, can I pause just a minute, because we didn't get Calla recorded. So Calla, could you go over what you received and then pass on to Carol?
Okay.
Pass to Carol.
And my response again was the action, that we're taking action, and to hold the light and love steady as we transition through to fifth dimension. We do not need to ground at this time, as we're lifting off of the 3G to the fifth dimension. Instead, hold the circle like a magnet for perpetual motion, in action, always and forever, with that love and the light. That was it. Short, sweet, to the point.
Thanks, Carol, for waiting.
Mm-hmm.
What amazing visions these all are. I got dropped on top of a mountain, a really cold, you know, massive storm, no oxygen, nobody around. What is this supposed to be? And I, you know, it kind of went through these ideas of, well, maybe it's like a tower, you know, it's supposed to transmit, but there wasn't even enough oxygen for the sound waves to travel through, you know, so that wasn't it. And I had this image that they dumped me there to figure it out. And for the first time, there was a Gurdjieff, okay, who's the man who created or brought the work that I teach out. Never thought of him as somebody that I would refer to. Anyway, he was there and he was kind of like, yeah, okay, what are you going to do with this? You know, figure it out. He was a trickster. And it was like a koan. Like, what is this supposed to mean? And am I supposed to figure out, you know, a way to keep my body warm by, you know, advanced techniques or this or that? And no. So I just kept, it was like process of elimination of what am I supposed to mean? And then I had this image of, there's nowhere to go but down. There's nowhere to go but down. What the hell is that supposed to mean? So there I was again. And then almost simultaneously, I had all of these metaphoric or allegorical understandings. Jesus in the desert, on the mountain, getting his information and his temptations. Moses on the mountain, having to bring the tablets back down. The founder of the Usui Reiki went up on a mountain and said, I'm not coming down until I get my information. And then he had to come down the mountain. And it's always about coming down the mountain. And then I said, but what does that mean? Is this, you know, is this is this about earth? wasn't about the earth. It wasn't about a mountain. It was about coming out of my head into my body. And again, of course, Gurdjieff was there because he had to remind me of what I supposedly teach, which is that the whole purpose of the movements, which are a part of this work, is to restore and heal those pathways that have been disrupted and scrambled and blocked between the head and the body, to allow the heart to receive the information that it needs to live by. And that is the whole work of everything. So yes, the pathways, that's why we need the heart transplant, because the pathways between our three brains, the body, the heart, and the mind, have become so misaligned and blocked and scrambled and tied in knots that maybe it's just got to cut that center one out and then let the pathways regrow. And then I had, you know, all these things of poetry and everything that I've resonated with over the last 30 years, that it was just coming to prove that point. You know, Rumi's poem about all this stuff and all this thinking, and then he says, all this talk, it's like minting coins. Get this, money. It's like minting new coins. They pile up while the real work is being done by someone outside digging in the ground. Okay, so whether I'm worried about, I mean, you guys have been with me. I sit there and I try to figure out how to fix our economic system and our social system and our political system, and I research and I read and I discuss, and I'm all up in my head, like minting new coins while the real work is done in the body. So yeah, so we trust our bodies, but we can't trust them until we clean them up. We can't trust the pathways, the brain waves that are down there to teach us something real until they're clean and cleared. And that's, again, connects to the crystals and the crystalline nature of our body and blood and water. And yeah, so I think you can take it from there. But that's what was just like, boom, once I figured out why I had to get down off the mountain. So I am complete, and I will call Sue.
Thank you. So my action is to hold space, hold consciousness for change and for healing. It's for healing. And the women I work with ask questions. Questions about what do you need? What's the frequency of what you need to learn your truth or heal? And practice compassion, acceptance, forgiveness for the healing of our hearts. And what I got is that our higher selves, the archangels, light workers, past, present, and future, that we are a collective consciousness that I've been calling the tag team. And to me, today, it's our collective consciousness. All of us that are working for the highest good for all. And that we are all working together for a new reality and the new world. And we are creating the new reality and the new world by healing our hearts and working together and being a unified, conscious field of intention. It is action. I'm complete. And who hasn't talked? Who hasn't shared? Emma?
Kelly, do you want to go first? Okay. So I see an orange glow below me. I'm situated above the orange glow, and it's spherical, circular, and I ask for an explanation, and I am taken closer. And it is a fire. It's a great ritual purifying fire. Think of Bridget or Vesta. The hearth at the center purifies the home. This is a literal fire as well as a symbolic fire. So I walk up to the fire. It speaks to me in the language of fire, a greeting, a remembrance, a welcoming, a partnership. I'm given a bracelet of fire on my right wrist, and I look and see that the left wrist also has a bracelet of liquid silver, a gift from the Moon Sister. I am dressed in priestess garb, sleeveless. I am fully holding my power. This is something that I personally have not experienced in this physical life, but I see myself that way in this vision. So I walk into the center of the fire and am protected from harm. Fire moves with me as I go out into the world. And then I'm told further instructions will be given as needed. Okay. So, Kelly.
All right. So I've been working with my sacred symbol, trying to reestablish or make sure that the understanding of what I thought it was accurate. And I felt like it was shifting. My interpretation of it has been shifting. And so what I was shown is, of course, keys. I could hear keys jingling, and then my hands went like this. Okay, so this is part of my sacred symbol. I have 4 quadrants in my symbol, and this is like the top quadrant. It's like the funnel of the top quadrant. That's, and I could go all runic on you, and it's what it is, but it's like the gift. That's where you receive your divine messages. And so, my quadrant would click. So it clicks, and so each quadrant goes, and then the next quadrant comes to the top. So what's happening is there's this clicking, and you know, like when you have again, if you think of the Bluetooth or the Wi-Fi symbol, which is not a bind rune, by the way, the Wi-Fi symbol is not, but you know how it goes as it increases, it dots. So then I have 3 dots in my sacred symbol that are now going, but they're coming down. The dots are coming down, so the information's coming down. And at the top, I have these other items that are twirling. So as these items are twirling, my dots are lighting up, and then each quadrant is rotating. So that's what I got. And it was really powerful because it tells me a lot. So I'm working with that. And then I just want to go back to the mention of bind runes. Bind runes are super powerful. And whenever I talk about bind runes, it's important that I also put a cap around their power. And that bind runes or anything are always used for good, period. Even when I've worked with clients that have asked me to create something for them, I always wrap it up with the intention of good. So even if they're in their mind, maybe it's a love spell or something of that nature, doesn't matter what it is, as I'm building it for them, it's always for the use of good. So may the Bluetooth always be used for the power of good. And I am complete.
You want to pass to someone, Kelly?
Sharon, I think it's you. I think you're, sorry.
Okay.
That's on my
Well, I realized that for the last maybe week or so, I've been gathering up all the various crystals that I have in various parts of my house and bringing them all into my office onto my altar, just bringing them in, bringing them in, bringing them in. And I went, oh, no wonder they are here to be the surrogates for clearing crystals from my, for my work. They said, because they said what we, just the statement we made and affirmed about clearing and activating, they said, it's done, but here's the crystals. And so I did a blessing over the crystals. I used my cedar to smudge symbolically all of the crystals. And then I sat down and they said, the divine family agendas. They took me back to the beginning in that first world where each family set an agenda when they birthed. They didn't all birth at the same time, but we brought them together as if they were there all at the same time with their agenda, and we sealed their agendas. So the divine family's agendas are to stand as light from the past, using the Bluetooth symbol, I could see them using that to enliven any darkness, any energy darkness through which we went. That on the other side, there was great enrichment of all good from the experience. So they added that to the original divine family agenda and sealed it, anchored it, and activated it. And they said, we are calling the game of outsiders ended. What will be left is, as people go like, what happened? What was that about? Is an understanding. What happened to us will be important. This is for me personally, probably. What happened to us? And in that what happened to us, the ability to drop the costumes, the masks, all that we've taken on, all those patterns that they will drop off like with laughter. It's like, well, that was a game. Well, that was a game, and that will be that the next phase would be greeting each other with a high fives, like you would, like, man, we made it through. That was tough, but we made it through. And a really lightness, and yet a deepening of that quality from home. So if I were going to use a color, for me, the color yellow indicates inner knowing, that inner knowing that many are on. So it's like, okay, they took that vibrational song color and they took it through this path of journey, and on the other side of it, it is vibrant. It might be even gold. That every experience that we chose has been absolutely refined and pristinely enriched because of the experience, and great joy in what we can then choose next, whatever that is. So that was mine. Cindy, did you go already? Who didn't go? I thought there was another voice there waiting, but I guess not. Okay, Sue.
I'd forgotten, but I had gotten that, just what you said, Sharon. I'd gotten that before. A lot of people are going to wake up with no memory, which is kind of what Cinda was saying, that a lot of people will have absolutely no memory. All they know is, what am I doing? Oh, well. And I find that fascinating. And first I saw it was shocking, and then it's like fascinating, and then it's like, so be it. If the most evil people can wake up and go, what am I doing? Well, I feel like going on a picnic. I think I will. Then so be it.
Do you remember the movie with Jim Carrey? I think it was Truman, The Truman Show. And he was, they followed his life from beginning to end when he finally escaped. And the minute he escaped, I mean, everyone was riveted to the TV. Everyone was rooting for him. Everyone was like, who is this evil empire that's keeping this man from living his life and finding his love? And then the minute it was over, everyone like went, oh, okay. And they just went around about their lives like it didn't matter anymore. I mean, one moment it consumed them, and the very next moment it just didn't frickin' matter anymore. Just like that. That's the energy, Sue and Sharon, that I was shown. This shift in reality. We will not remember. It will not matter, because we will not need to dwell on the past. It will have cleared itself, cleared its way, that we can finally breathe, and from that moment forward, we move forward. It's just so, like you said earlier, Sharon, it really is just so simple. It really is now. I feel so profoundly simple.
I'm just, getting more and more from all of this. All the allusions to the elements in this particular call, and then in others. I mean, because to clear, we need the elements. To clear, we need the wind. To clear, we need the fire and the water. And once this clearing is done and the pathways are made straight, and we are connected within ourselves, which is, of course, the meaning of being connected with everything outside, then why would we even remember when it was broken? It's like remembering what it felt like when you had a broken leg and now it's over. Well, I kind of remember, not really. So that is where we're going. Yes.
And the earth holds us steady while all the others do their job of twirling and raining and burning up the dross and vacuuming away. The earth holds us steady, rooted.
Well, and Carol, I think I mentioned this when I did my heart-centered work for the Women Remaking the World class, and it's something that I always mention whenever I teach that course, but it's all based upon what you came up with. And the ancient peoples have always said the longest journey a woman can make is the 7 inches from the head to the heart. And that is, it's also the most difficult journey, but it also is the most profound and the most important. And so that is just so huge, right? Because this is where we heal. Too much of this has happened. This is where we heal. So thank you for that.
And as always, when we mention Grace and Gaia, I'm going to bring in Sophia every time, because without Sophia having been embraced again by women to say, I trust what I know, I act on what I know, that solar plexus, that is what gives us the safety for the heart to open. So that triad, I've never embraced divine feminine. I've never embraced goddess until I understood in the last month or so the triad of Gaia, Sophia, and Grace. And that's, to me, that makes total sense. That's what it is. So here we are. Okay. Shall we give ourselves an assignment to do our 17 seconds of whatever that symbol of it might be, the laughter, or might be the high five, I don't know. Just sit. What would be a symbol that you could energize 5 seconds a day?
5 seconds, 17
15,
seconds.
or I mean 17.
17.
The 5 comes from the guardian circles, because we do up to 5 with the guardian circles, but we can all go do 17 seconds. That's based on something, but I don't remember what. So, okay, until we meet again. hi-fi, love, angel readings, all the symbols we're getting. Love you guys. See you again soon, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.